Hey everyone, welcome back. Anna Navarro wishes her family was dead. The Supreme Court upholds another ruling, and that's good for America and God. He's still around if you didn't know. And did Trump lunge after the steering wheel of the limo to make his way back to the Capitol Hill January 6th? Huge problematic day no one actually cares about. This and probably a lot more. I'm Rob Kruger, and this is The Rob Kruger Show. That's right, everybody. Welcome back to the show, and we have a few things to go over, really important stuff. Anna Navarro, oh my goodness. So she's supposed to be conservative or Republican? Try again, because she is not. Let's take a look at the clip here, and we'll get into what she's talking about in just a second.
And I am not anybody to tell you what you need to do with your life or with your uterus. And because I have a family with a lot of special needs kids. I have a brother who's 57 and has the mental and motor skills of a 1-year-old. And I know what that means financially, emotionally, physically for a family. And I know not all families can do it. And I have a step-granddaughter who was born with Down syndrome. And you know what? It is very difficult in Florida to get services. It is not as easy as it sounds on paper. And I've got another step-grandson who is very autistic, who has autism, and it is incredible. And their mothers and people who are in that society, who are in that community, will tell you that they considered suicide because that's how difficult it is to get help, because that's how lonely they feel, because they can't get other jobs, because they have financial issues, because the care that they're able to give their other children suffers. And so why can I be Catholic and still think this is a wrong decision? Because I'm American.
Oh my goodness. Anna Navarro, what a pure piece of garbage. She really did just state that her brother, 57-year-old with mental disability, would be better off if he didn't exist or something, or it would be better for the family if he didn't exist. Like, it's super hard for them, or she's okay with it for their family, but other families can't handle it, so we should probably just kill people. We should just abort children, so that way you don't have to deal with it. And then her step-granddaughter, why wouldn't you just say granddaughter? I don't understand that point. My step-granddaughter, you're like, okay, fine, disconnect yourself from your family. It's your family. At that point, stepchild, that's a little bit close, but grandparent, just absorb the family and be their grandmother, I guess. But whatever, that's your prerogative. You want to kill babies, so why not, just disassociate yourself with them even in the living. Down syndrome, I think she specified, right? So it has Down syndrome, and it would just be so much better if that baby were dead, if that child were gone. What? No, absolutely not. So you cannot just... My brain doesn't work like that. That's the thing. My brain does not work like the crazies on the left, and that's my difficulty, I guess. That's the thing I'm going to have to work through. Try again. You guys are going to have to stop doing this, and you're going to have to start thinking a little bit more rationally about the world around you instead of your own selfish delusions on your own stupid gains in life. It's a burden. Did you know what else is a burden? Having a pet. Having a pet is a burden. And there are a lot of people who are really bad at having pets. I see it all the time on my Nextdoor app, oh, dog got out, whatever, or hey, I found a lost dog. Anybody? For like 3 weeks, nobody comes around. Having a pet is a burden, and people are just terrible at it sometimes. Well, I always thought a pet was a pet until I met my wife, and turns out pets are family, so my pets are family, and I treat them as such, and we love them, and we take care of them, and that's great. I love my children a lot more than that. So to take it to another level of saying, let's just kill the disabled, let's just eradicate those who are going to have a mental disability or have Down syndrome or something like that would be a genocide. That would be a specific genocide to eugenically, is that even a word? Using eugenics to just wipe out a population. How terrible is that? I think she even referenced autism. Did you know autism cannot be detected in the womb? So what is it? Just a feeling? I feel like my child might be autistic, so let's just kill it. No, you can't. A lot of people don't even get diagnosed until their teens, 20s with autism. It's a wide spectrum. So you can't just kill what you're going to view as a problem. A better way to look at it is to say, this is my cross to bear. It's true. We all have the things that come down on us and make our lives difficult. So that's your cross to bear. And you have to just bear it. You have to carry that cross and say, this is part of my life, and I can't give up on this child. I can't give up on this problem. I can't give up on this, whatever it is. Fill in the blank. Everyone has it. I always hated that when you're having a tough day and you vent it out to a friend, and then they flip it around and go, oh yeah? And they start telling you how horrible their day was. I learned very quickly that in those situations, I look them right in the eye and I go, you're right. I really appreciate that. Your life is so much worse than mine, because that's what they're looking for now. They want the pity party. Okay, you know what? That opened my eyes to say that maybe complaining about it is just not doing me any good. So I'll move on, and I'll bear my cross, and I'll get over it, and I'll work hard, and all the things you're supposed to do to work through problems. I don't think killing children is a good solution. We have to move on, though. So this next little story is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So Joseph Kennedy, the football coach who after the games would go out to the 50-yard line, take a knee, and say a prayer, regardless of winning or losing. He would do this, and he never asked any of his players to come join him, but often some of his players would. In fact, often players from the opposing team would go and join him. That's it. That's what happened. And the school thought, hey, we're going to fire you. Separation of church and state, which is not really a thing. You guys are wrong if you think so. That is something that the left has been pushing for my entire lifetime. Separation of church and state. That's actually not in the Constitution. And it's not written in the Bill of Rights. So there is no separation of church and state in that way that everybody thinks it is known. Anyhow, he got fired, brought his case all the way to the Supreme Court, and they upheld the fact that, no, it was unlawful to fire him over praying after a game. Here's the thing. They can take their ridiculous CRT garbage and put that into schools and hand it out like nothing. They can take their horrible LGBTQIA plus ampersand, number 3 spirit, Two-Face, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde rules and just indoctrinate children with them. Why? Why is that all okay? It's really not, okay? Because they seem to have a problem that if you bring God into the situation at all, in schools, in sports, then that's an issue. Why is that an issue? How is that an issue? There's no issue here. Because even if a coach prays intentionally with, let's take football. Let's say Coach Kennedy prayed with his players before the game, at halftime, and then afterwards. And in the locker room, he said, we're going to pray because that's what we need to do. It's going to help us. And he preached to them some scriptures and verses. Even if you did all that, that still wouldn't be wrong. It might be a little bit heavy for what people might be comfortable with in a public school situation. However, it wouldn't be wrong because he's not saying, if you don't believe in God, you're not going to be in my team. He's not giving an ultimatum. He's not forcing them to be of a certain religion. He's not imposing his own religious views on them. He's actually exercising his own freedom to hold a religious view. The idea of separation of church and state is actually rooted in the idea that the state, the federal government, cannot have a specific religion to follow. Because at that point in time, states already had that. They've already decided state by state, we are of this religion, we are of that belief, and that's all faded away into the darkness. So it really wasn't so disconnected from reality that it was normal to have a religion for a population from the top down. That was actually a normal thing at one time. I don't believe that needs to be the case now. I think it's okay to have that privacy of your own religion. But I have no problem if an instructor in a school wants to talk about Christianity. Do I think that it should be okay to talk about Judaism? Sure. Do I think it should be okay to talk about being a Muslim? Sure. Because talking about it is not, pushing that view. It's not hanging the rainbow flag and making your students stand and do a pledge of allegiance to pride. We've seen that. It's discussing it in a context where, from this point of view or this belief, you can start relating things. And actually, it works out really well in history because a lot of history was rooted in religion. A lot of art had been rooted in religion. You can learn a lot about different subjects. Literature, rooted heavily in religion. So to pretend it doesn't exist or doesn't have any place in this world, that's pretty messed up. But we have a win this time. And I think that's good for America. I think that's good for the fact that people who do believe in God and do want to take a knee after a game and just say a prayer without consequence, well, now it sounds like you can. And you shouldn't be afraid to do it. In fact, you should be grateful that you have God and you have that opportunity. Don't be prideful, though. That's slated for other losers out there. So this last story here, Cassidy Hutchinson, somebody or other, she's got an interesting little story to tell about her time working as an aide for the former chief of staff of President Donald Trump. So Mark Meadows, she was an aide to Mark Meadows. Let's hear a little bit about what she has to say from the January 6th debacle.
Mr. Cipollone said something to the effect of, please make sure we don't go up to the Capitol, Cassidy. Keep in touch with me. We're going to get charged with every crime imaginable if we make that movement happen.
And do you remember which crimes Mr. Cipollone was concerned with?
In the days leading up to the 6th, we had conversations about potentially obstructing justice or defrauding the electoral count.
So what happened in the president's vehicle when the Secret Service told him he would not be going to the Capitol?
The president said something to the effect of, I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now. To which Bobby responded, sir, we have to go back to the West Wing. The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol.
Okay, so let me get this straight. She's claiming that President Trump was so angry that he couldn't go to the Capitol after insisting that his driver take him there, that he got up out of his seat and he lunged through the limo to the front of the vehicle, grabbing the steering wheel. They're skidding all over the road. You know, sirens are going crazy, helicopters flying in, people are flooding the streets, and they're just... Are you kidding me? She just turned this horrible joke of a lie into some stupid action movie. It's already come out that Secret Service agents and the driver themselves would gladly testify under oath to the contrary. So I didn't need to see that information come out to know that this was total garbage. It's an obvious lie. And the only thought I have is this Cassidy Hutchinson person probably couldn't get her next spot on The Bachelor or something, so she was looking for another way to be on TV and get her 15 minutes of fame. And I have no idea what her agenda is, but I think that's ridiculous. You would assume that the chief of staff would have an aide probably in the similar mindset as chief of staff, as the president, as the administration, maybe more of a conservative persuasion at that time, right? But no, it seems like she's just a weirdo who had to infiltrate and probably a lefty. Maybe she's not, but why are you talking like this? Why are you saying this stuff? In fact, it's even come out that there are other recordings of Secret Service agents who have testified on this specific account, and they have it already. However, for these primetime hearings or whatever they're doing, I don't know what Adam Schiff and all of his loser buddies are doing. I mean, they all lie anyways, right? So what are they doing showing this and not all of that? You know, didn't we hear for 2, 3, 4 years that Adam Schiff had some super secret information about this Trump-Russia collusion nonsense, and it turns out he was totally full of it. But I guess, hey, if it got me on TV and paid as, you know, a contributor and kept coming on and kept coming on and kept coming on, getting known, and everybody, like even me, knowing his name, you know, it'd be tempting to just, oh, yeah, I definitely know something. I got that in the bag. Yeah, you know, I can't share it yet. Just wait. Just wait, you know. It's like trying to keep your kids calm in the car. Like, oh, just 10 more minutes. No, are we there? No, just 10 more minutes. You can hold on. Yeah, just 10 more minutes. Like, are you kidding me? Does he really think we're all children in their little car seat in back? Just, blah, 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 yay. Oh, thanks, Adam Schiff. Just 10 more minutes. I totally believe you now after 3-4 years of this garbage. And it's the same kind of thing. Here's another person just showing up with lies, going, oh, yeah, this totally happened. It didn't happen. It didn't. And it was obvious. It was so obvious that it didn't because, first of all, President Trump's not an idiot. If you don't believe me, he predicted these gas prices. All true. He predicted the war in Ukraine. Totally true. He predicted, like, one thing after another. He predicted if he wasn't in office and it was going to be Biden, then we're all screwed. And guess what? We kind of are. If you don't believe me, look around. There are gas prices higher than most credit scores. It's ridiculous. So it's getting out of control. And to be honest, I didn't know they were still doing these hearings. I haven't watched 1 minute of it other than clips that come out like this where I go, oh, another idiot. That's funny. Let's talk about that. President Trump did not lunge for the steering wheel. Why would he? He's a billionaire who became president, did a darn good job. And what? He thought if he could drive over there, he could join in and rally them, or he could go over there and stop them. First of all, it didn't even happen. So why is this story even out there, pretending like it's something? It was so obviously not something. Oh my gosh, ridiculous. Ridiculous that Ana Navarro wants to kill her family. Awesome that the Supreme Court upheld America and God. And Coach Kennedy is vindicated in his actions of praying. Taking a knee on a football field, bad when you pray. Great when you hate America, though, right, Kaepernick? Ridiculous. And then this phony story that we're all going to hear for the next 15 seconds because the left is pretty preoccupied with a bunch of stuff right now. They can't hold all this together, especially when it's all a bunch of garbage on their side. So, with that said, I'll see you next time.